Yes, we should start recording now.
All right. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining in this today's evening. We will be talking about Haringey Community Carbon Fund Year 5. This is me, Biplav Pagani. I'm the Climate Change Officer. With me, there is Alice.
Hello.
Yeah, let me just go through the agenda for today. So we have Councillor Mike Akata talking about the fund, and then we'll be asking you to put down where you're from, what do you like to get from this session on the chat. We'll be going through some overview about the Community Carbon Fund and some guidance that you can apply through Haringey Community Collaborative. Some reflections on past projects and any questions that you might have. And we also have, depending on the time, we'll be doing some co-creation session at the end of this event. So without ado, I'll be handing it over to Mike. Would you like to give us some words about Community Carbon Fund?
Thank you, Biplav. Sorry, I dropped out. My browser crashed, so hopefully it won't during the session. But thank you, everybody, and thank you for making the time tonight. I can see quite a lot of people have joined the session. This is our 5th year of the Community Carbon Fund. It's been hugely successful. Nearly 40 projects have been funded by this, and essentially it sort of is the essence of it is that local action, local impactful action, is where we can really galvanize, inspire, and create change. And we want to ensure that this fund facilitates and acts as a catalyst for projects that may struggle to get off the ground, but are absolutely brilliant and inspiring projects, or ones that just need that bit of extra help. And obviously what's really key here is that it's about the council and local residents and projects being able to work together. So the team here, Biplav and Alice, are online, and they have been, along with Suzanne and Joe, have really masterminded this entire program, and over the years have been just refining it, talking to recipients, talking to people in the community to really try and into something that is co-created and does actually reflect the needs of those people joining. And one of the aspects of it is these sort of workshops to really allow you to ask questions, to make suggestions even, but really to understand how it works and how we can ensure, because the aim of this is really for people to get the funds, but also to have additional support throughout the whole program. So it's not just about us going, here's some, you apply, here's some cash and see you later. It really is about, let's work together, let's monitor together, let's see what the impacts are, what not just the carbon impacts and the climate and environmental impacts, but also the social impacts. They're really important, especially in a borough like ours. So, and then beyond that, again, just continuing to look at those impacts, and then to have that continuing discussion with you guys about how we can improve and refine the program. And it's open, you can reapply every year if you so wish. So, you're the guys that actually make it happen. You're the guys that actually make it into something that is worthwhile doing. And so far, we haven't been proven wrong. You've really everyone in this borough has really stepped up. And one last point is that we've seen a spread of successful projects from across the borough, east to west, which is a really fantastic, I think a really fantastic testament to the work of the team, but also to the passion of residents. So really appreciate it. Thank you for making the time tonight, and I'll pass back to Biplav and Alice. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mike. I would also like to introduce Becky, who's also here from the council, and David will be speaking some point today about the project that happened in Muswell Hill Methodist Church. So without ado, I would ask everybody to give their introduction in the chat. Alice will be covering the chat and letting me know. And do let us know what if you have any projects in mind already, or if there is any questions that you have. We'll be trying to tackle that at the end of the session. And what would you like to get from this session? So I'm going to start with what is the fund. I'm sure some of you already know about the fund, but then still in June, the cabinet allowed a 4-year extension of the grant. So we had already 4 years of this grant before, and in February, next 4 years amount of 400,000 was granted. The fund is financed by the Section 106 carbon offset contributions. So these are the money paid by developers, developments when they do not meet their carbon reduction target on site. So during planning process, all the development should be net zero in planning terms. Whenever they are not, they pay a certain amount of money, which is allocated to this community carbon fund. This one supports the empowerment of community-led decarbonization projects in the borough. In the first 4 years, we had 300,000 available in grants, and for the next 4 years, we have 400,000 available, which will be 100,000 per year. We have 3 different types of funding, and with 3 different types of amount, the eligibility requirement does change. Do check the brochure that we have uploaded in the website for details. But a rule of thumb, if you are an individual who would like to apply for fund, good news, micro grants are available. You can bid up to £1,000 for different types of projects. If you are a constituted group, a charity, faith groups, community interest companies, you could bid for medium grants and up to large grants up to £50,000, depending on the type of the project. The primary aim of the funding is to show demonstrable and measurable carbon savings for mostly all medium and large grants. The secondary aim is also that the project should do certain kind of engagement activity on climate change and carbon reduction. For example, if a project is installing solar panels, yes, solar panels will reduce carbon, but then we also want to see certain community engagement element in that project, which could be awareness programs or sharing how it was done, how the installation was done, and what are the outputs of actually having a solar panel in a building. So these are the primary and secondary aim. We also have other objectives, such as how does the project contribute to Haringey's equalities agenda. For the next 2 years, we also have Borough of Culture objectives. So engagement should reach beyond the immediate beneficiaries of any community group or your area. Bids must be submitted with a realistic and worked out project plan. And microgrants can also be used for engagement events only. For other types of grants, we would like to see a capital element of projects. But for microgrants, it could be used for engagement only. So as Mike said, we have funded 36 projects till now in the last 4 years. The estimated amount of carbon reduction we have had is 182 tons of carbon dioxide reduction, which is equivalent to 8,000 plus trees growing for a year. Different project types we have funded, projects such as energy efficiency measures, installing renewable energy, products, low carbon heating, food growing, waste reduction, so many types of project. The project have engaged with local schools, residents, sports players, libraries, community gardens, artists, and many people from the marginalized and different age groups as well. These projects also bring a lot of co-benefits, and when we talk about carbon reduction, it's not just carbon that we are trying to reduce. We also want the community engagement element. We also want other co-benefits. So some the previous projects had food provisions, improved air quality, helped with energy bills reduction, had green skills and employment opportunities, and money saving advices as well. So carbon reduction or carbon action can also bring these kind of co-benefits, which is what the projects were showing. This year, as I said earlier, the total pot of funding available is £1,000, sorry, £100,000. And this is the timeline that we are looking into. Will be awarding the funding in April 2026. The bid will be closing on 28th of November. We launched the bid on 29th of September, and today is the second question and answer session that we are leading. In December, we will be reviewing all the bids that we'll receive. January, we'll be having a panel discussion, a panel review. All the projects will go through the panel, and the panel will recommend which projects will go ahead. And as I said, April 2026 will be awarding the fund. So some of the key questions to ask when you prepare your application is what is the project about? What will it do? What is the funding for? Be specific about the resources you will need. Is this the most effective way to reduce emission, and can you calculate this reduction? If you cannot calculate this reduction, let us know. We are there for support. We have and will provide some tools as well today in order to help you calculate these reduction. Who will deliver your projects? Do you have any project partners, leads, roles clarified? That would be really great. Which communities you'll be engaging with, which area, how are you trying to go a bit wider to your present area? And how will you monitor your progress or measures that you have actually estimated or proposed in your project? Is your project plan has a clear timeline? Do you have any risks identified? How are you going to mitigate those risks, and so on? So these are the scoring criteria. I did mention that the projects will go through a panel, and the panel will be scoring your projects according to these 6 different criteria. Not going to go through all of them. I did touch upon a few of those in the previous slides, but then the first 2 is the major one, effectiveness of delivering carbon reduction and community engagement. The effectiveness of delivering carbon reduction will be weighted a bit higher, which is in line with what the GLA carbon offset guidance says, as the funding is all about carbon reduction. So what will the fund cover? The fund will cover carbon reduction technologies, materials, and equipments. Staff and setup cost, yes, this fund can cover that, but do remember it's for the specific project only. We will not fund the staff costs for business as usual, but a certain time for the staff for the specific projects that you're bidding for. Project promotional activities specific to the project, contractor costs specific to the project, again, and feasibility assessment by qualified professionals can also be taken part of the project, and up to £15,000 are eligible for feasibility assessments. So these are the 6 things that we are looking into. These are the 7 themes that we are looking into. Your project can be one or many of these themes: improving building energy efficiency, generating renewable energy, low carbon heating system, circular economy, sustainable transportation, climate resilience, and community engagement and behavioral change. So on the screen, you can see some of the year one project. We had solar panel installation on Lordship Hub. They were also training carbon champions in addition to installing solar panels. So there was that element of community engagement with the installation of solar panel. So that was a good project that gave an example of how a capital element as well as a community engagement element was there in a project. We had many different projects of different types. In year two, we had Muswell Hill Methodist Church installing air source heat pump. David is here to talk about that. We'll go into that soon later on. We had 1087 Studios, which is a music studio, again, installing solar panels. Cypriot Community Center installed LED lights in their community center. In year three, we saw different schools applying for grants. Willow Primary School did the Stop Food Waste project, which was a portion food system trying to tackle that waste reduction or food waste reduction. Workshop of Recycle Delights did amazing workshops on helping residents on how to upcycle waste wood products. Jackson's Lane retrofitted their theater lighting and installed new LED lighting, saving energy and saving energy bills. So you can download the application form. As I said, the bid is already open. There's a different form for micro grants, and we have a form for medium and large grants. As I mentioned earlier, carbon reduction calculation is one of the key criteria for this project, but we do understand it might be a bit difficult and a bit of a foreign concept for some people. So do try to use these different types of calculators. We'll be sharing the slides later on. We also have these support guidance in our website. But if you have any troubles, please do write to us. We'll ensure we guide you as much as possible in order to calculate your emissions. If you cannot calculate your emissions, you can use any other metric, like how many kilograms of waste you're stopping from going to landfill, or something like that. If we have something quantifiable, that would work as well. How many energy you are saving in kilowatt hour. Those could be also used in your application form instead of carbon savings. So to summarize, all this information is available at our website. Again, saying we'll be sharing the slides to everyone. Do consult the brochure for full guidance, eligibility requirements, and some of the case studies of carbon reduction projects. Do let us know if anything is not clear. We'll be there through emails or phone calls. Sample application form can also be found on our website. So there is a sample application form. You can actually look what a sample or what a good application looks like. For any support with your application, please do contact our team at climate@haringey.gov.uk. If you need further support, as I said, get in touch with us. You can also contact culture team about the Borough of Culture objectives. As I said earlier, year 5 and year 6 has that element of projects delivering Borough of Culture objectives. You can also get in touch with Haringey Community Collaborative to get more general help with preparing your application, general bid support. These kind of general bid writing supports you can get it from Haringey Community Collaborative. If you have any technical support that you require, you can talk with us. We'll be talking about the carbon reduction or climate change themes and so on. So I would like to call Alice for this slide.
Sure. So Beth unfortunately cannot join us today, and she sent her apologies, but I'm going to just cover her few slides so that you can also know what sort of support you can have. So Beth has come from a group, Haringey Community Collaborative, and they help community groups to prepare bid for funding. Oh, sorry, and next slide, please. So they normally they provide one-to-one support and regular training sections and monthly voluntary community sector forums. They basically help to strengthen the capacity of getting funding for the community groups in Haringey. And next, please. And so, as I say, they offer one-to-one support. And so their main interest is actually trying to secure external funding to Haringey, but they also help us along the process. So they do have a lot of like regular training sections. So do keep an eye on that because they're very good. So they help you to develop your business plan, fundraising strategy, because I think a lot of community groups are very good at doing what they're doing. But to write bid is different skill set together. So they really offer help to basically tease out all the expertise and put it into a big format so that they can secure funding. And next, please. So yeah, so unfortunately, because Beth's not here, so I'm going to just cover very briefly. But if you have just want to find out a bit more, please do visit the webpage. And also there's an email address and telephone number that you can reach. So sorry, it's very brief. And I think this is the last slide for the Haringey Community Collaborative. And so for now, I'm going to pass it on to David to Muswell Hill Church group because this is our year 3 funding applicants. So David, would it be possible that you can share, tell us a bit more about your project and share your slides? And Biplaf, I don't know whether we do need to do anything to enable that.
David, are you able to share a slide?
You're muted, David.
Hi, David. We can't hear you.
I have a feeling.
Oh yeah, we can. Oh no, we cannot.
No, that was me, I'm afraid.
Sorry.
We do seem to be having a technical issue, which is not uncommon.
Is this microphone better?
Oh yeah, we can
That's
hear you now.
Okay, so I had the wrong microphone selected. That was all. Apologies.
All right, brilliant.
So I was just trying to check whether or not you could see my share my screen. Have I? Do people see that? Fine, good. Okay, because it's not showing that it's sharing on my side. I'm a Zoom person, not a Teams person. So apologies. Right. Okay, folks. So this is a very short story about the project at the Muswell Hill Methodist Church. We received funding in 2023, partial funding towards an air source heat pump. And so this is the context. What you have here is the church on the left, and the building on the right is called North Bank, which is sort of an 1830s building that has many different rooms, which is very useful from a bookings perspective. And one of our biggest challenges in lettings at the church was that the way that the heating system, which was set up, oh glory, can't remember exactly when, but has very few zones. So to actually do heating in any one room, you end up heating far more rooms than you really want to heat when you've got sporadic lettings happening in all different parts of the building. So that was a real challenge for us, and we recognized that a way to go was to try and do more controlled management of our heating in different zones. So this is the view from the other side of the building, and there are 5 rooms on the upper floor which are named after the trees that you are prominent in the view. So holly, which is this room on the far left, overlooks a tree called a holly tree just outside, and you can sort of see the indication of the air source heat pump that is there on the balcony. So it's quite discreet. It's tucked away out of sight, and this is a unit that generates will feed 3 9,000 BTU wall units inside this room. And this is our holly room, which is about approximately 20 square meters, with the 3 wall units that you can see there. And this is quite a popular room, used a lot in the evenings and and during the daytime, but it works out for a reasonable sized group. And I'm just going to put away the view of yourself so I can see my notes briefly with me. Okay, that's not playing ball. Right. Okay. Yeah, here we go. Right. So yes, as I say, the project was installed in 2023, and the total cost was about 4,500. And we had a community grant, community carbon fund grant of 2,500, with almost match funding from the church, and that money went towards as you saw, an electric IQ heat pump, which cost about 1,400, including the 3 wall units in holly, and about 2,500 installation cost from UK Cold Room, and about £600 for smart control tech, which we needed to be able to integrate when the room was being heated according to the bookings that the building had, and involved repurposing a laptop, an older laptop, to run something called Home Assistant, and various bits of technology which I'll show in a moment, which allow the communication between the laptop and the air source heat pump to determine when it's on and off, according to the calendar being taken from the room booking system. So as an example, this is a quick graph taken from Home Assistant, showing how on a very cold day, you can see at the top it said the outside temperature was 2.3 degrees. The room temperature indicated by the dark green line was about 11-12 degrees, at the point that the system determined that heating was needed. And when all 3 wall units came on, the room warmed up within about half an hour or so to a tolerable temperature for the room to be occupied. And that was a key requirement for us for this project, was that because we knew the rooms were being used occasionally, there wasn't a need to maintain the warmth in the room for an extended period. It was really about warming up a room quickly at minimum energy input to get the room to a comfortable state, and then maintain that comfortable state for the meeting. And I'll come on to that a little bit later. As I say, the system that we used was Home Assistant, using what's called a Zigbee network, which runs over a section of the Wi-Fi broadband Wi-Fi signal frequency range, and uses a combination of different devices. What we have here is a smart TRV, a thermostatic radiator valve, which weren't used in holly, but were used in other rooms when we extended the project to include other rooms, and we used thermostatic smart TRVs in those other rooms to control when the heating came on in those rooms, because we only use the air source heat pump in one room. And middle at the top is a smart plug, which allows you to control the power coming on and off, which is how we controlled when the wall units were turned on or turned off, so that we had the control of when the heating was run in the rooms. We used these thermostat hygrometers, Zigbee hygrometers, to detect the temperature and feedback to control when we needed to turn the heating on and off. But also it's a useful guide to show people in the room that this is the temperature you've got in the room, and it's a helpful way of indicating to our users that we are both managing the temperature, but showing them what temperature we're trying to achieve, as a way of indicating, yes, we are achieving a comfortable temperature without it being an excessive temperature. We have, bottom left is door control, door open sensors that allow you to determine whether or not a door is open or closed. And we would use a release mechanism to close a door. We have magnetic releases on our doors in the building, and we use a release mechanism control from the Home Assistant to release a door if it was open at the point of starting to warm up the room. Otherwise, we're just pumping heat out into the corridor, which is not a good idea. So that was a useful technique as well, along with smart plugs, which are useful as much about transmitting the Zigbee signal across the building, because it's quite a large building, and as you're aware, with Wi-Fi you need multiple access point hubs in order to get a good Wi-Fi coverage. In the same way, the Zigbee is a mesh network where all the powered devices can build the mesh network and allow all your remote devices, battery operated devices, to connect back to the center. And the final one in the bottom right hand corner is a motion detector, which was helpful just to tell us, is a room being occupied at the right time when we expect it to be occupied. So various tech that went into this. In summary, Alice was keen that we include some indication of the carbon savings. This is the basic calculation for that. We started with the amount of energy that all the units have consumed, so the air source heat pump and the wall units, and that's information that we glean from Home Assistant, because these the smart plugs and the air source heat pump control has the feedback telling us what energy is being used by those devices. And on the basis of the coefficient of performance of 3, that tells us that we've used about 2,500 kilowatt hours over the 2 years. And if we were using gas to generate that level of heating, it would have consumed about 470 kilograms of CO2. But purely based on the electricity that we consumed with the air source heat pump, only 180 kilograms. So we've had a net saving over those 2 years of 287 kilograms of CO2. But that, because it's very difficult to quantify what that really means, I think it's more useful to think about the percentage saving in CO2 of the electricity as against the gas of 61%, which sounds much more dramatic, I would think, and quite helpful to really get a sense of the saving there. There are other savings as well, which are difficult to quantify. So, for instance, by virtue of only heating Holly when it needs to be heated and not heating other rooms, we're then not turning on the heating for the other rooms in that zone. And now that we've implemented smart TRVs in those other rooms, each of those rooms is also now only being heated when it needs to be heated. So we're now getting the optimal economies of only heating rooms when they need to be heated. In terms of behavioural changes and community engagement, which I appreciate is, as Biplaf was saying, is a key aspect of these projects as well. As a consequence of the work we've done, it's enabled the church to migrate from a bronze Eco Church Silver Award, bronze award, to a silver award, along with other aspects of the silver award in terms of promoting eco to our community and to those that use our building. As I say, the hygrometers are a way of telling our community that use the building, these are the temperatures we're trying to work to. We're trying to keep it to a modest 18.5 degrees, although we have the flexibility to adapt the temperature that we use in a room according to a particular clientele's needs if required. We're very much connected with the Muswell Hill Sustainability Group, who meet at our premises, and so a lot of their outreach and reaching into the community includes promoting our project as one of the local green projects to promote the air source heat pump particularly, but other aspects of what we do at Muswell Methodist Church. We've got a massive solar panels on the church, we've got a community garden and various other activities that are very eco-focused. We obviously do our own marketing, both to our own community and to the to the user community around us about the air source heat pump. And our projects have also featured in the Muswell Hill and Fortis Green Association outreach, as partly because they meet in our building, but we've got close connections with them as well. So all in all, there are various ways in which we have sought to engage with the community, communicate the work that we're doing, and communicate our eco-credentials to those that come through the building. Final slide, key learning points from the project that we found the air source heat pump as being an ideal solution for us, where we're trying to heat rooms sporadically in the way that it warms up quickly. That we had 3 wall units, as I mentioned, but we believe that only 2 are really needed for Holly, and that we can move one of them into an adjacent room and use that to heat that room instead of that room being heated by gas. So that will be an enhancement to how we're utilising an existing resource. Going back to the original installation, a learning point from there was that many of the installers that we got quotes from were very business focused. You know, they're very focused on doing installations in shops and in chilling locations for retail and businesses, and we're often then quoting for business grade air source heat pumps and other equipment. So we opted to buy the kit ourselves, went to Appliance Direct, and then used Cold Room UK to do the installation, who were very good to us and gave us a very competitive price for that installation process. We did have some challenges with the wall units in finding how we can keep the room warm once it's occupied, without the rooms, the fan blowers blowing what might be deemed to be cold air. It wasn't cold, but it wasn't warm. It wasn't heating. It was maintaining the temperature. So what we chose to do was we would actively heat the room, turn off the units when they reached a certain temperature, and wait until the temperature dropped a bit, you know, more like half a degree, before we then allowed the fans to come back on again. And then they would come back on, generating heat, and turn them off when they reached the comfortable temperature. And that way we found that we could make the rooms a comfortable place to be, the Holly a comfortable place to be for the meetings. So I'll stop my sharing. I think that's all I had to contribute at that stage, and hopefully that's been useful.
Yeah, thank you so much, David. It's very useful. I think and all the figures and also your step-by-step help us to understand the process of how to calculate the carbon reduction. And it's very nice to see the benefit of what the project can actually allow, and I really appreciate your sharing it. So maybe for now, I'm going to we're going to stop the recording now, and maybe we can open for some questions. Bibra, I'll hand it back to you.
Yes, thank you, Alice. We did have some